Welcome back to another great week of Scoreboard Addicts podcast. A little bit different. We've moved to a new time. We had to do a little swapping. Luckily, White Supremacy World was canceled. So when we reached out to Plant World, they could move. Fortunately, Cooking World got pushed to the end. So here we are, new time, same channel. Same addicts, same passion for the games in which we love to discuss. And one little note this week, I think this might be the last time we get to play this for our buddy Rook. I will remember. I'm hoping this is the last week we see. We're without our buddy. We're gonna have to remove that little featuring Rook part.
No, he has to earn that. I think we keep it. I mean, he's missing tonight, right? His triumphant return back to the airwaves, if you will, and he's missing it to play softball with a bunch of other old dudes. Why?
I thought he was playing with a bunch of thick women.
No, then that would be totally acceptable. It's like, hey, man, you gotta let your freak flag fly, right?
Well, let's talk about that for a quick moment. All right. So my niece is playing flag football, and my sister-in-law sends me a video, and it's like a big boy knocking her over playing flag football.
It's co-ed.
It's co-ed, right? So my response to that was, "What's his address?"
Fair.
Why is he knocking little girls over? You know what I mean? And my coworker is like, she's playing a boy's game. I said, on the contrary, if he was a real boy, if he was playing a real boy's game, he'd be putting the pads on, like lacing them up, playing some full contact football, not playing flag football with girls.
So
am I wrong?
I think I'm kind of either way on this one, right? If you want to play in a co-ed league, you got to expect, things that are conducive to guys playing sports, even young men playing sports. It's going to get nitty gritty out there. You know what I mean? They're going to go 100%. And I mean, as far as my own take on the whole women's movement, it's equality, right? And equality doesn't mean that, hey, we just want to be able to do it, but you guys got to hold back and treat us differently. No, equality means you go full bore. And I think that it's going to happen. I respect any girl that wants to go out there on the field, but I bet your niece didn't bitch and moan about it. It's us that get irritated by it because we're the ones that are like, all right, that's fucked up. I wouldn't do that. So I can see what you're saying. Like, I'd have enough respect to not try to take a cheap shot on a girl, but some people are losers and they want to take a shot. But at the same time, good for your niece going out there and banging with the big boys. And
she scored a touchdown.
Did she? Nice.
She did.
Did she flip somebody off?
I'm absolutely terrified of that little girl. She's 10, and I'm pretty sure she's going to take over the whole world. And when she does, I just want her to be like, Uncle Nick, you're always good to me, so you won't be put in a concentration camp.
I mean, the concentration camp is where the party's going to be at. If it's just a whole bunch of alpha male dudes, it's just like, all right, everybody knows the rules. Tuesday night, somebody dies.
Naked Wednesdays?
Guys, seriously, I'm not cool with building the pyramid anymore. It's just weird at this point. We could do this on Thursday, but not on Naked Wednesday.
Yeah, she's going to take over the whole planet, and then, geez, I'm terrified.
That's awesome, dude. I respect your niece for going out there and playing hard, and, you're going to get some bumps and bruises, and that's what equality is all about, right? But I think it just furthers our opinion that girls and guys are completely different and they don't belong in the same sport as far as once you hit a certain age group. There's no more like intramural unless you're playing like, I don't know, dodgeball, kickball, softball, fucking, ultimate frisbee. I think once you get into, that kind of combat sport that you can lay into somebody and lay the wood, there's a serious difference. And while I support anybody going out there and trying, it's failed miserably in the eyes of the woke crowd. I mean, a couple years ago, that girl tried out to be a kicker in the NFL. I think the ball went like 7 yards. Embarrassing. the Ferry Hawks had that girl on playing, what was it, right field?
She's still on the team. She's pitching and she plays the outfield.
Yeah, dude. And it's funny because me and my brother had this argument. I'm like, yo, dude, I'll never go to a Ferry Hawks game because it's just you're purposely saying like we're not going to put the best product out there because this is what we want to cater to, some woke agenda. And he's like, how can you say that? I was like, because I'm pretty sure she batted like 000 for the season.
It was pretty bad. I'll pull up her stats right now. They're actually advertising something for the 4th of July, and she is like the picture on the advertisement.
Right. Like, dude, you're used as bait. It is literally the whole Turk in Scrubs situation where he's the face of the hospital because he's black and he's uncomfortable with it. It's like, okay, you want to be the face of progressive as so progress, I would say, but everybody knows it's like, oh, easy out, bring him in. Oh, we're only going to play 3 people in the field. You know what? I'm going to Bugs Bunny this. I'm going to pitch and play the field.
So
and it would work 99% of the time.
The girl's name is Kelsey Whitmore. Her career batting average in the independent league between Sonoma and Staten Island, her career batting average is .041 over the course of 4 seasons. Now, mind you, it's not a big handful of at bats. She's had a total of 83 plate appearances and 74 at bats. For those of you who are not baseball fans, a plate appearance is when you get a plate appearance, meaning you walked from the dugout to the batter's box. An at bat is basically any type of situation where you result in an out and or a hit, but not necessarily reach base on a walk or an error. So if you reach base through a hit by pitch, base on balls, or an error, it is not considered an at bat. So she's only had 83 plate appearances, but she's batting .041 over 4 seasons. She's also a pitcher. So she has logged, 17 innings over her very short 4 years, and her ERA is 12.46.
Oh my God. Nick, let me ask you something. Would you have lasted 4 years with that batting average in any independent, minor, Southern League, Penal League, Orange?
I couldn't have played our men's league team and batted 41. And like I've done the other way around though. I've batted like almost 410 for a season. I have never batted. I don't think I ever batted sub. Maybe my last season I batted 290 and I was fucking sad. I was really, really depressed about it.
I'm not sitting here telling you that I can go out there and play independent ball and rack up more hits. I would put money on it that I would rack up more hits than that. But I'm sorry. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care.
The point here is that not only would you probably rack up more hits, the bigger point is that you never would have been given an invitation to the team putting up numbers like that.
Never.
Because that's before that couldn't have been indicative. Like you kind of get a feel for what your numbers were looking at before you got there, no?
But see, that's the thing. I mean, well, it's I guess it's good to be the first person. Not that she's the first person. They've done this before in different independent leagues and throughout different sports. But it's always to drum up attention and ticket sales and to push an agenda. And I think that's wrong. You know what I mean? Like it would be a blaring, like just disgusting show of, I guess, wokeism, or not even wokeism, just like ignorance to thinking that somebody's ignorant, not knowing what they're being used for. If Jackie Robinson could have hit the baseball and batted .043 for his career and they retired his jersey, you think he'd sit there and be like, oh, I'm so proud to represent. He'd be like, this is a fucking embarrassment and I'm not going to be your pony boy. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Hold on. You know what? Great point. Talking about not being proud, right? I don't know if you heard. What's so funny?
I'm hoping we're going into a Josh Donaldson rant.
I'm not.
Like I was getting excited. I thought that's where we were going.
Where I'm going is St. Louis. We're talking St. Louis.
Okay.
baseball, we're talking about being the first or getting some sort of honor and then being kind of proud of it. David Freese of the St. Louis Cardinals just turned down induction into the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Oh.
And basically, and we all remember David Freese. He actually is a St. Louis guy. He's a St. Louis fan. I guess for whatever reason, he grew up. I mean, as far as I know, he's from Texas. So I think it's kind of weird that he was raised in St. Louis. Okay. So he's born in Texas, raised in St. Louis, grew up a Cardinals fan. And he just felt like the body of work that he put forth throughout his career is not worthy of induction into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. And I'm going to clap it up for David Freese. And here's what it is. Here's what it is, right? David Freese, 2012 All-Star, 2011 World Series champion, World Series MVP 2011, NLCS MVP 2011, career batting average 277, 113 home runs, and 535 RBI. That's his career stats for his years in Major League Baseball. All right. I guess the concept about adding him to the Hall of Fame is what I consider to be what the Yankees do when they don't have high expectations for what the team is going to achieve. Right. If they think attendance will be down in August when people don't want to go to the ballpark because it's 100 degrees outside, they just start having ceremonies for old timers just so people will go into the stadium to see that old timer. For instance, they retired Paul O'Neill's number last year. And I love Paul O'Neill, but he does not deserve to have his number up there next to Babe Ruth. He doesn't. Not even close. Bernie Williams is my favorite player, all right, from my generation. And his number's up there with Joe D and Mickey Mantle. I think that's a little crazy. I'm not sitting here saying he's a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying is that you can't retire everybody's number. And teams generally will do that when they're expecting bad times. In the words of Dusty Rhodes, hard times. If you're expecting hard times, you start retiring people's numbers, giving them honors and all these things that they're doing simply because you expect. And the Cardinals are going through some hard times right now. But, you got to have a lot of respect for David Freese to sit there and say, like, so you want to put my number, my name up there with Ozzie Smith, with Bruce Sutter, really? Scotty Rowland, Branch Rickey, Stan Musial, Johnny Mize, Tim McCarver, Tony La Russa, Rogers Hornsby, Whitey Herzog. You want to put Bob Gibson, you want to put my name next to their names, Dizzy Dean, Frankie Frisch, Lou Brock. Like, these guys are in the Hall of Fame.
I respect what he's doing. But at the same time, I think that's just the organization not knowing how to be creative and say, like, this guy was the guy for one season and was a great guy in St. Louis, but we don't know how to honor him the right way without it being, we're retiring his number. Just you can honor him through a night. You can invite people out to the ballpark and be like, we're honoring this guy who means so much to the city.
I'm not going to sit here and put it on the Cardinals organization. They're a classy organization. The fans voted him in, and that's nice and everything. But I think what his point to his fans were, how about we have some higher standards for who we let in this club?
Not even that. I think he just has respect for the people that came before him, and he knows, like, it embarrasses him to be put up there with those guys because he knows himself that while he's amazing and he's, let's say a top 5% guy for the Cardinals through their organization, that upper crust that's the top 1%. That's the elite of the elite.
You know what, though? Honestly, the truth of the matter is he's not top 5% for the Cardinals or their.
I would say no. I would say the fact that you got MVP, a World Series in that town. I think that for that year, for having a standout year,
it was just a playoff. That's it. It was literally just that 2011 World Series playoffs. He did great in the NLCS. He did great in the World Series.
Right. And
then the following spring, he was an All-Star because it's a popularity contest. And but he sees it for what it is. He's like, dude, I had like 100 and something. I batted like 270 for a career with 100 and something home runs and 500 RBI. And you want to put me in the Hall of Fame next to Lou Brock? Tough call, man. Mark McGwire, really? You really want to I didn't bring that much credit and that much visibility to the St. Louis Cardinals. Rogers Hornsby, like, guy had 2 last names.
I'll tell you right now, fucking Aaron Hicks would dole out rim jobs underneath the boardwalk in Maryland somewhere for a career of 274. Am I lying?
I immediately thought of the Yankees and how the Yankees have retired everybody's number for people that really don't deserve it. I'm sorry. Billy Martin was a terrible player and a bad manager. Like, somebody said something the other day about, like, I wish Billy were alive so he could take control of this team. I said, and do what? Show up drunk and start fights with freaking Aaron Judge and Rizzo? Because that's what he would do. Billy Martin was awful.
I was going to say, if you want to be real here, in the grand scheme of things, when you reference Cooperstown and baseball and shitty human beings, while it is crappy how Pete Rose has played out this whole not being in the Hall of Fame, banned from baseball thing, and very, I would say, disrespectful and uncaring and unapologetic, he's still not as shitty of a human being as Billy Martin. Like, every time Billy Martin got behind the wheel, lives were in danger. Like, Pete Rose betting on baseball didn't endanger anybody's lives. You know what I mean? Am I wrong? It seems so ridiculous that guy's banned from baseball, and like, people would cheer as Billy Martin fucking pulled out of the stadium and ran over somebody's dog.
I don't want to get into the whole Pete Rose being evil thing, the whole like pedophilia claims. I don't know. I don't want to talk about that because I don't know about that. Like, I heard a lot of stuff about Pete Rose dating like 15-year-old girls when he was playing Major League Baseball. I don't know if
really
it's true. I don't know if I don't know if that's true. I've heard it. I don't know if it's true. But are there any Yankees that you can think of that have their numbers retired that should not have their numbers retired?
We both agreed that Paul O'Neill shouldn't be up there.
No,
I didn't love it. Like, yeah, great. He's a hometown guy. He's a Yankee. Blah 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 blah. Jorge Posada comes to mind. Shouldn't be up there. Shit. I mean, in the last 10 years, most of the Yankees that they retired, other than the obvious Jeter and Rivera. Everybody since, like, in the mix, like, I get it. The 90s were a great time into the 2000s, and we had a dynasty. You could appreciate them without having to, like, all right, nobody can wear their numbers because they're that important. Because, again, when you have people like Mantle and Root and DiMaggio sitting up there, it's like, dude, they don't even come close. So stop.
It's like this. So here's my deal, right? Your number gets retired when you win an MVP, you're a team captain, you're in the Hall of Fame, or if you die unexpectedly.
Right.
I think everybody in the whole free world can agree that if somebody dies unexpectedly, no matter what the sport or how good of a player they were, immediately retire that number. That number is bad luck. Like, not only just retire it for like, hey,
yeah,
we're gonna honor this person for all time. That number's bad luck. I wouldn't want to wear the dead guy's number, would you?
Not particularly. The only way I would is if it was, let's say, we had a Griffey Jr. situation where, like, we played on the same team in the same year, and God forbid something happened to my dad, and I wanted to honor him. I'm rocking his number.
No,
that's you're talking about a crazy. I mean, how many times has his father and son played in Major League Baseball together?
Maybe twice,
3 times.
I think. Well, not played with each other. I think that might have only happened once, but father and son have been
in the league at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably maybe twice.
Yeah, but so we're talking about a 1 in a billion situation. So yeah, no, that you got to retire that number unless it's like, oh, dude, we were firing that guy, and I'm pretty sure he was going to jail anyway. Like Aaron Hernandez. If Aaron Hernandez died before his trial, I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, well, bye.
But the Yankees numbers that are retired are Billy Martin, Derek Jeter, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Joe Torre. Managers shouldn't even wear numbers. They should just have an M on their back. Like, why they wear a number and take up a number, I have no idea. Mickey Mantle, Bill Dickey, Yogi Berra, Roger Maris, Phil Rizzuto, Thurman Munson, as we talked about. And if you die, you deserve your having number retired.
Yeah.
Whitey Ford, Jorge Posada, Paul O'Neill, Don Mattingly, a captain, MVP. I'm at a loss for words right now about who number 32 is. It's like Elston Howard. Again, MVP. Casey Stengel shouldn't have a number. I don't understand that crap. Mickey Mantle. Not Mickey Mantle. I'm sorry. Jackie Robinson and Mariano Rivera, Reggie Jackson, Andy Pettit, Ron Guidry, again, a captain, Bernie Williams. Those are the Yankee numbers that are retired, okay? If I'm looking at that list right now, Billy Martin shouldn't have his number retired, all right? He got fired 35 times, and he was a drunk, and I'm pretty sure he died in a drunk driving accident, if I remember right.
Something like that.
And they retired his number because, truthfully, George liked him, and he felt bad that he fired him 30 times, and then he died.
Right.
Like, that's just not really
Reggie Jackson, I think, means a lot to this town, especially with that postseason 3 home runs and 3 at bats and stuff like that. But I don't think he's not a Yankee.
Of a Yankee because he played on so many teams. He's more of an A than he is a Yankee. And
what was he? He was here for what, 5 years? He
was here for 5 years. And if you look at his numbers, they weren't all that impressive. He had a lot of home runs. Don't get me wrong, but he batted like 250 for those 5 years. And I think he was an all-star for 3 of them. Like, if they don't win those World Series, do you retire his number?
Yeah, he was a hired gun. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And he was a typical George pickup. And I'm not trying to shit on Reggie Jackson because he's a very important Yankee, hands down. But you don't have to retire his number because he did his job.
Give him a nice plaque. That's all. But I would say Billy Martin, Joe Torre shouldn't have had a number, so retiring his number is ridiculous. Posada, O'Neill, Stengel, Jackson, Pettit, and Williams, they shouldn't have their numbers retired. Pettit left for a few years, got caught in a steroid thing. They basically retired Posada and Pettit's numbers because of Jeter.
Yeah.
Those are his boys. But then, so Pettit does steroids, goes to another team, comes back, gets his number retired. A-Rod won 2 MVPs. Before Aaron Judge, between 1961 and last year, only one Yankee had won 2 MVPs. That Yankee was Alex Rodriguez. And they hate him. They hate him.
I think baseball just assumed hey, fuck Alex Rodriguez, right? New York Yankees, right? Everybody. And everybody had to follow suit.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much that's what came down to. And again, I love Bernie Williams. He's my favorite player. But to put his number up there next to Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio, who were like MVPs. Yeah.
I always dislike the A-Rod situation because I feel like he was the whipping boy of the league. They were quick to fucking throw him under the bus. How quickly they forgot about the Braun situation, getting the guy fucking fired because he tested positive. They're like, oh, well, he entered the specimen like 18 minutes too late. Fire his ass. That guy's a piece of shit. Do you do steroids? I don't have to answer that question.
Ryan Braun.
Oh, okay. You're an awesome person.
Ryan Braun's a piece of shit.
Right. Like Alex Rodriguez made a mockery of whatever was going on, but at the same time, it's like, Alex Rodriguez wanted to stand there and be like, I did what 80% of the league did for the past 10 years. Go fuck yourselves. I'm not your whipping boy, and because I'm not a bitch and I'm not going to sit up here and name names like Jose Canseco, I get to be the bad face of baseball when I absolutely love this game.
I honestly would have had more respect for him if he would have tore down all of Sports Illustrated when they wrote that article about him failing an anonymous drug test.
Yeah.
Like, I would have sued everybody at Sports Illustrated for libel. And then they would have done it too. The person that was involved with it, because they did it on a condition of anonymity. They didn't want to snitch on the person that snitched, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would have forced them through the courts to prove that somebody that was reputable said it. And then, because it was supposed to be a sealed freaking test, I would have ruined that person's life.
Yeah.
Because here we are, and it's almost 20 years later, right? 15 years later, 16 years later, and Alex Rodriguez is still not over. He got suspended for a whole year because he failed a drug test in which there was no punishment for failing drug tests.
Correct. Like, no, he got a shit deal. He got the raw end of the stick, dude. It is what it is. And I hate the hate for Alex Rodriguez. I'm not a fan of it because the guy is a product of the system that he grew up in baseball in. Everybody was doing steroids. Everybody was getting an edge at that time. MLB was okay with you getting an edge because they were still struggling to get viewership, which they are doing right now. Okay. And everybody was cool with it. If you think the trainers and athletic staff and people in the locker room weren't facilitating this, if you think the craziest thing that happened in sports was equipment technician deflating balls for Tom Brady. If you think that doesn't happen every day with somebody saying like, "Yo, dude, just go grab me that shit for my car or something," like these people all facilitated it. Everybody knew what was going on, and they just hung Alex Rodriguez out to dry.
Absolutely,
it's ridiculous, dude.
On top of that, what really kills me is at the time Bud Selig is the MLB commissioner. Nobody, and he was previously the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Nobody from the Milwaukee Brewers ever did steroids. Nobody. Every other team had a steroid user except the Milwaukee Brewers. I find that just completely impossible to believe. Completely impossible that no one, everybody else in Major League Baseball is popping freaking steroids, using the clear and HGH. Everybody's using it except his team. It's bullshit. It's collusion and it's a lie. It just flat is. You know,
dude, 100% really very rarely happens in nature. Nothing is ever 100% this.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
so
not.
To have a team and all the players that have passed through there for the years that they were investigating it come up with 100% pass rating, yeah, I'm not buying that one.
Yeah, it's just him keeping himself clean, knowing that he's doing wrong. But David Freese, clap it up for him. He's a class act sitting there. He knows his value and he doesn't want to diminish the red jacket. You know,
respect for himself, respect for the game. I love it.
Right, and I was unaware the Cardinals have a red jacket that they give out. Very much similar. I'm not saying they copied the Yankees. They probably had it first. But the Yankees have a blue jacket that they invented the day that Derek Jeter got his number retired. And he didn't even bother to put the jacket on when they presented it. Real classy dude he is. I don't know what that was about, but they literally invented this blue jacket to give Derek Jeter. Nobody else had a blue jacket when they retired his number. Before that, there might be like 8 guys alive that can wear that blue jacket because everybody else is dead, right? Like who was alive at the time? Whitey Ford was alive at the time. Let's see. I think Mo had his number retired at the time. Bernie had his number retired at the time. Now I'm starting to wonder like who was alive? Tori's
alive. What's his name? Yogi Berra was alive at the time.
No, he wasn't.
He died already?
He was long gone.
No.
I'm pretty sure he was long gone, man.
Before Jeter?
Yeah, I mean he died. Yeah, Yogi died in. Let's see. Yogi died in 2015. When did Jeter get his number retired? I don't think it was before that because didn't he play in 2014? I don't think he got his number retired the next year. I'm pretty sure he got his number retired.
Oh yeah, you're right. 2017.
Yeah. 2017. So Yogi was already gone.
Wow.
You know, so we're talking people that could wear that blue jacket at the time. Joe Torre. I think Whitey Ford was still alive. I'm pretty sure Whitey just died recently during COVID. Yeah, 2020 he died. So Whitey Ford, Posada, because his number had already been retired.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie, Mo, Pettit, Guidry, and Bernie. So you got 9 guys.
The whole Bernie came after. Pettit and Bernie got their number retired before Jeter?
Yeah, because they retired before Jeter. Jeter retired in 14. They retired. They were retired in like 2012, I think 7 and 2010, respectively. So they both got retired in 2015. But point being is 9 people in the whole world could wear that jacket. They created it for the day that Jeter got his number retired. He didn't even put it on. Like he gave it to Posada, like, here, hold this jacket, put it on my chair. Never threw it on. And then somebody had the audacity to be like, oh, it's because he had his speech in that jacket that he was wearing. 2 things. One, just take the fucking speech out your pocket, put the new jacket on. If you were signing a new contract and you were putting on a Yankee jersey, you wouldn't be like, hold on, I can't put on this Yankee jersey. I gotta get my speech out of my suit pocket. No, like you would just take the speech out, like, and then on top of that, he went and did an interview after the fact, still wasn't wearing the jacket. Like an hour later, still wasn't wearing it. Like, dude, they invented that for you.
You know, the head of PR was like down on the field during that, and like the whole time, somebody from the organization was in their ear, like, make him put the fucking jacket on. It's like, I'm trying. He doesn't want to do it. It's like, get up. You're getting fired if he doesn't wear the jacket.
And I think I heard somebody else say, well, he didn't want to put on the jacket because he was with the Marlins at the time. Well, then don't show up to the ceremony, dude.
Right.
Like, say, hey, listen, guys, I'm going to be quitting the Marlins in a few years. You can have the ceremony then. Like, don't sit there and be like, oh, I'm a part of another organization and therefore I cannot celebrate. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's when you say, like, yeah, but we're a real organization, not that whatever's going on down there.
So Yankees are getting their asses beat right now. Redheaded stepkids of the league right now.
Still 7-0.
They're getting no hit here in the fourth. 10-0 to Seattle.
Nice.
Baseball in New York City is really sad this summer so far. It seems like the Yankees can't win unless Aaron Judge is in the lineup. He's injured right now with a toe injury that he received playing at ancient Dodger Stadium in smoggy Los Angeles. And so the Yankees suck. The Mets aren't much better. Mets with the largest payroll in baseball, Yankees with number 2, which just goes to show you money doesn't buy happiness.
Yeah, dude. And you know what? Not for nothing, LA's going to be losing a lot of money soon with the shenanigans they pulled of recent. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's been a trend on TikTok. People tearing down their LA Dodgers like pennants off their wall and flags and burning jerseys and stuff like that. They're another victim of thinking it's okay to go full woke and absolutely disrespect everybody else that makes up this country. I don't know if you saw what happened at their Pride parade in the parking lot.
I heard some stuff.
They essentially absolutely abused the crucifixion of Jesus and just said like a dude climb on a cross and start humping the dude that was tied to the cross. And it's like, in what world do you think it's absolutely okay to shit on a religion and abuse them? Like the very morals of that religion, the penance of that religion, and just make fun of it because you don't agree with it or it doesn't suit you. Like, if you did that with any other cause or religion or anything like that, look at the freaking psycho-ness that people go through when somebody's like, yeah, I don't want to take Pride Night. It's just not, like, that's not what, I'm not into it. Sorry. Like, yeah, you guys are free to do it, but I'm just not into it. You piece of shit. They should fire you. They should throw you down a flight of stairs, but we can just pick apart, the very essence of somebody's religion. Because Christianity is allowed to be the whipping boy. And now Dodgers are going to be the next company to suffer. And I love it, dude, because and I've said it once, I've said it again. I love free speech. You're free to do whatever the hell you want, but people are free to withhold their money and not spend money on you. Bud Light found out the hard way that, hey, maybe don't go against your brand and your customer base. You know what I mean? And the Dodgers are going to pay the price. Yeah, they're a huge organization, but like to allow that and then not come out and be like, listen, we don't support anything that's going on out there. It's people are free to do whatever they want. And, we'll always support the people's right to have freedom of speech. Doesn't mean we get behind it. That's all they had to come out and say. And they're like, oh yeah, we don't see a problem.
It's a little surprising to me just because a huge part of the Mexican community is Dodgers fans.
Yeah.
And like most Hispanic people, like I'm Puerto Rican, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans. A lot of us are very Catholic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
dude, I would say the Hispanic community that's Catholic, the African countries that are Catholic, and the Irish. You just don't fuck with when it comes to religion.
Very surprising the Dodgers just didn't again. A big part of their community supports Christianity. But again, you're kind of right about that,
dude. It's a big movement right now on social media as far as just making a joke of it. But people are really pissed.
If you're a large organization of any type, it's kind of, or a large community of any type, it's okay to be hateful toward that community. So like Christianity obviously is a large community, and therefore it is okay, at least in America. Obviously, I think Islam is the largest and fastest growing religion in the world, but in America, it's still technically a minority religion because Christianity is the majority of America. In America, right, if you're a part of a majority, it's okay to be hateful and toward that group. Like,
right.
I don't know why, but me personally, I don't feel like there's any room for any type of hate. I mean, do whatever you want to do. I don't really give a shit.
Oh, absolutely, man. But I think it's the fact that where we are as a country, you can't even question it without being told that you're some kind of piece of crap. I mean, look at all the Disney movies. Disney's going through a very woke period, and a lot of people like us. What?
I'm anti-Disney because they're getting rid of all the ginger characters, and my nephew is ginger, and my brother-in-law, who's my hero, is ginger, and I won't stand for it. Like, they are purposefully going out of their way in in Marvel and in their Disney films. Like, if they make a live action Entangled or whatever it's called, Tangle with Meridia, she's going to be Chinese or something. I know it. They will not.
I was going to say, it's just a clusterfuck right now with their organization as far as like trying to woke everything up, and it's kind of ruining the movies to the point where people that are like, yo, listen, I really don't care one way or the other, but like, stop, at least pick the best actor for the role and go with that. Like, and we've had this discussion before, like, the whole, are they going to pick a black actor to play James Bond? And would that, are people going to have a problem with that? And we kind of both agreed that, like, I mean, if they choose Idris Elba, I don't think anybody has the right to say shit about it because he's fucking awesome.
Handsome dude, and he's super suave.
Looks fucking excellent in a suit.
Looks great in a suit.
Right? He could pull off James Bond, no problem.
Super smart, too.
But if you're like, oh, hey, the new, like I love that in Ted 2. The new Superman is Jonah Hill. Fuck! Like, the new James Bond is Chris Rock. It's like, you motherfuckers.
I could see them picking Jonah Hill to be the new Superman because they don't want to body shame anyone. And they're just like, yes, he's Superman. Like, you don't have to be shaped to be super.
This is awful. But I digress. It's just like, come on, like,
but let's
stop making cater to the people that support you. Like Budweiser, what do you do? How do you not know it's a bunch of people in a fucking trailer shooting guns and like, what the fuck is that shit?
See, the reason is because they get greedy and they think that they've already got you.
Oh, they don't.
They think they've already got you, right? What are you drinking, by the way?
This, I didn't make a beer run this week. I'm still a little banged up for my sister's wedding this past weekend, so I had this in the fridge, a Sunny D vodka seltzer. It actually tastes like Sunny D and not very alcohol, 4.5%. Zero sugar, though, so it's pretty sweet with that aspartame, so I'm probably going to get a tumor in my brain.
I'm really
explode.
Whatever.
But yeah, you know what? While we're on the subject, shout out to my sister Shannon and my new brother-in-law Paulie. Awesome wedding this past weekend. I got absolutely banged up.
We were just at her Sweet 16 the other day.
Yeah, dude.
Feels like it.
I had fun. I thought the food was excellent.
I had hair at her Sweet 16. Damn, that was a long time ago.
We both had hair. But yeah, dude, we had a pretty damn good time.
I had a good time. I had a really good time. Talking about Pride Month and jerseys and such. As you talked about before, people getting in trouble for not wearing whatever the jersey of the month is. The NHL has decided that they won't have any warm-up jerseys moving forward.
I think that's sad. Dude, you know what? Because like military pride and anything that is going to raise awareness and money, cancer, breast cancer, anything like that. How do you not do it because your organization doesn't have the balls to sit there and be like, you know what? Some people want to participate, some people don't. We're not here to force them to participate. And that's their choice. And we're all about freedom because that's what America's about. End of story. Some people like it, some people don't like it. As an organization, we're very inclusive and we'll support everybody. But if our players don't want to, we don't pull the chains. We're not slave drivers. They're free to make their own decisions, and we support them just as well as we support everybody else. Done deal, over and done with. But you can't do that anymore. You can't be like, oh, hey, everybody has the freedom to do. No, that's not right. What's not right? Freedom.
It's a twofold thing. The first one being, you're right. I do like the support for various groups, whether that be breast cancer awareness or military or gay pride or Black history or whatever they want to do. That's all cool. Like I don't see a problem with it. Obviously this became an issue where they were wearing LGBTQ pride stuff because there are players in the NHL that are very religious. And there are certain religions that they're just not cool with their religion. And it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and say that one religion is right and one religion is wrong. I guess we'll all find out when we get up there. We'll find out who is right and who is wrong. We won't find out anything at all. I don't know. So I can't be that person that goes, your religion is wrong if they don't support XYZ. That's not my place to say. You decide what's morally acceptable for you. And again, just because you're a part of a certain religion or faith doesn't mean that you have to buy in 1,000% into everything that's going on, because religions have been known to evolve and change over the course of the, 6,000 plus years of documented religions that are still going on today, right?
Unless you're one of those ones that popped up in the last century, then fuck you. we can't name them because then they get litigious and we make more work for Rook.
Leave the Scientologists alone.
I didn't name them. Dude, Rook is going to be missing on a podcast not only for sports now, for playing women's softball or whatever, co-ed softball. I don't even know what he does.
Leave the Church of Jedi alone as well.
Let Tom Cruise be.
Then again, actually, the Church of Jedi's got to be older than 100 years, right? Because it's a long time ago
in a galaxy far, far away.
So it's got to be old, right? It's a long time ago. It can't be 100 years. Although
at a cosmic scale, I'm sure that time frame can be infinite compared to what we have on this earth already.
Fair enough. But I digress. I think what Gary Bettman said about the situation with the jerseys kind of made sense. He goes, listen, I love it and everything. He goes, but he basically said that, they're not going to make players choose or force them, whatever it is. And he goes, and it's become more divisive than it has been, and it's distracting from the game. We're there to watch hockey. We're not there to make a statement. And it seems like this has become a situation where the jerseys are making a statement that we don't want to make, so we're just not going to do it anymore.
The problem is they're allowing it to be divisive because of the fucking media. It's not the fans, dude. The fans don't give a shit. It's always shitty reporters that want to dig up a story and create an issue where there is no issue. And honestly, that's where the NHL needs to step in and be like, listen, we're letting you know right now, you can write whatever stories you want. But from here on out, if you're going to create an issue and try to make a divisive issue out of nothing and distract from what we're trying to do here at the NHL, we will pull your media credentials and we just don't give a fuck. Because our fans don't really give a shit to hear your interview on CBS at 9 o'clock at night. They'll listen to fucking Jeremy Roenick break it down on his own podcast. They'll listen to, the Spit and Chiclet guys or anybody else at Barstool that breaks it down. They're local guys. They're local podcasts. They're not listening to us, but whatever. We're out here. We're doing it. They'll listen to the third period bourbons of the world. Our guy Dave, right?
Shout out to Dave getting quote tweeted by the New York Rangers on the announcement. And we digress. I want to talk about this. Is important.
Yeah.
Henrik Lundqvist, the King, headed to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
I love it.
Your thoughts?
Dude, statistically, he deserves to be there. He never got the cup. And I think that has nothing to do with him and more has to do with the situation that he was put in with the shitty coaches and horrible teams and teams that couldn't get it done. How many times did the Rangers make the playoffs where they shouldn't have even come close statistically as far as scoring? But when Lundqvist is getting a couple shutouts a season and only allowing, 1.84% goals in. And for a while, dude, you saw the backup maybe 10 games in a season at most. Doing it all by himself, man. So putting the team on his back, it's well deserved, bro. It's absolutely well deserved. It's just a shame that he will never get the recognition across the league as the elite guy that he deserves to be because he doesn't have the cup. And especially in the Northeast where our rivalries run deep, it's always going to be like, oh, yeah, the king of what? You never won anything. Yeah, well, he's got a gold medal, so suck it.
He's got a gold medal, a couple of Vezinas, did all right for himself.
He is definitely part of that elite goaltending, Hockey Hall of Fame lore and history. He deserves to be up there. And I'm all about it, man. I as a Ranger fan, I love him. I love seeing him do commentary, during the game and stuff like that. He's very knowledgeable. And it's one of those things where you're going to have people criticize it out of jealousy and rivalry, and that's it. Anybody that's going to sit there and say that Henrik didn't deserve this honor, you're a fucking liar.
When you go to the Hall of Fame, the question becomes, were you one of the best? And without question, Henrik Lundqvist was one of the best, if not the best, goaltender during his duration in the NHL. Year in, year out. You don't get the Vezina because you're bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're right. He didn't get that ever elusive, Stanley Cup, but that's a team effort. It has nothing to do with you as an individual player and your ability or your success. It really doesn't. Hockey is a very team oriented sport. It's not like basketball where you can have one good dude and win a championship. Hockey, baseball, football are not like that at all. You actually have to have a team. And good for Henrik Lundqvist and good for our buddy Dave getting quote tweeted by the
out there. I love it.
Yeah.
Are we done with hockey? I was about to.
We are done with hockey.
All right, so I'm going to segue now into the NBA because speaking about one player.
Before we do that, let's hit a word for our sponsor.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code SCOREBOARD to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
Good girl, Gingerbread. I like that guy.
I gotta say, you always ruin my segues with our advertisements. It's like you do it on.
You were saying something?
Never mind. I'm done. Speaking about one man being good enough to bring down a championship, of course, as the NBA season comes to a close, it's all about LeBron James, and that's the way he likes it because he's a bitch. I always find it amazing that like these media people will try to spin everything they possibly can and just asking him the most ridiculous questions. When are you going to retire? Who do you want to play with? Where would you like to retire? And like just to get like I get the obvious, like he says he wants to try to play with his son in the league. Understandable. That's pretty cool. We've already discussed that as far as baseball goes with the Griffies. But then like they get him to say like, oh, I'd love to play with Steph Curry. It's like, dude, I would love to play with Steph Curry too. I don't even fucking play basketball. I'd love to play golf with Steph Curry. Like, what the fuck does that shit mean? But again, it's just the nonsense having to do with LeBron James. And we both know that he will go wherever he can to pick up players to help hoist him to another championship because that's exactly what he's going to be remembered as. I don't give a shit what kind of, LeBron James ass kisser you are. He will never be Jordan. Okay. He will never be Kobe. He will never be any of these guys to put their team on their back and be the leader. He's always going to be just the guy that went and found other pieces to try to propel his career. End of story.
I feel that way as well about LeBron James. And I'm not sitting here saying that Kobe did it by himself. And I'm not saying that Jordan did it by himself. I'm saying that
Kobe didn't mind being a leader. Kobe didn't take himself out of a game because he stubbed his fucking toe.
They did it on their teams. Furthermore, in the NBA news, and there's a little bit of gossip. This isn't really anything. There's a little bit of gossip. Scottie Pippen is going to owe a piece of his pension to his ex-wife who's dating Michael Jordan's son. So you could expect Scottie to come out with some more Jordan slander in the near future because Michael Jordan's son, she used to babysit Michael Jordan's son, and now he's dating. Yeah, I didn't want to be crass, but yeah.
There's no other way to handle it other than crass. I mean, it's like, hey, remember how you used to babysit me?
Remember how
you think about this?
Bottom? Now I'm smacking your bottom.
Yeah. Remember when you used to give me those baths? Want to do that again? Like, what else are you supposed to do in that situation? There's no playing coy. There's no like keeping decency and decorum on the table. It's decorum went out the window when the babysitter started going down on you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But so obviously Scottie Pippen's been saying some off the cuff things about Michael Jordan. I anticipate some more off the cuff things coming from Scottie's part of the world because he's mad that Michael Jordan's son is clapping his ex-wife's cheeks. But such his life. Let's get this one going right now.
Whiskey of the week.
Wow.
Bang. What do you drink?
So this past weekend, not only was my sister and Polly's wedding, but it was Father's Day, and my wife knows exactly the kind of guy I am and what I like, degenerate and alcohol, and hooked it up for Father's Day this year. So she got me a Frey Ranch single barrel strength. This is actually a private barrel selected by a keg and bottle. 128.64 proof. Dude, I've been wanting to try this company, and where the hell is Rook? He's playing a woman's sport. Is that okay to say because it's factual? I think so.
It is true. Softball is for girls. That's why it exists.
And I respect softball, and every year I watch the College World Series of softball.
I will watch the College World Series of softball before I ever watch the College Baseball World Series.
I agree. That and Little League World Series. I changed time slots and everything. Dude, you know what? For your lips to, the softball god's ears, I guess.
Tighten it up.
Anthony.
Get it together.
Slacking. So, yeah, dude, one thing I wanted to try Frey Ranch. Been hearing a lot about it. Distilled 4 grain. It's from Fallon, Nevada. And the one thing that they do, and they're leading the industry with, I'm pretty sure they're one of the only places, at least on this level, to do it, is they are farm to bottle bourbon. They grow and raise the grain that goes into the bourbon, then distill it, then barrel it. They do everything themselves. So, that's a pretty damn awesome feat, especially when it's easier and probably more cost-effective to outsource everything else. They're like, nah, we want to make the best product we could possibly make, and we're going to put our hands in it fully. We got this. We don't want any outsiders coming in. We're going to fuck this up and fuck you up in the process. Let's go. That should be a slogan without the F words. But yeah, like I said, 128.64 proof, so it's pretty up there. On the nose, I know you're going to make fun of me for this one, but this is like candy corn. Dude, it's a almost fake sugary corn sweetness on the nose. That's insane, along with the proof and a little bit of char from the barrel.
I'm just glad you picked a new thing because usually your go-tos are like I could taste the oak and the vanilla, and it tastes like
easy.
Foster. Usually you use like the same 3 things over and over again.
Well, no, banana is a note that you get in like mostly Old Forester and stuff like that, and Jack Daniels, which is coming up next. Jack Daniels Barrel Proof, that's super banana. But vanilla is an easy one. Oak is obviously it's the wood that's in it.
Caramel's a goal.
Caramel is the staple of whiskey. You can't go wrong with that. You're never wrong with that. But you know what? I digress. Kiss my ass, Nick. On the palate, this is surprisingly sweet right away. Like very, very sweet. And then you get that, it's almost like a hay, earthy funkiness. And if you smoke cigars, you know what I'm talking about when you get like a little hay note. It's like a barnyard. It's in your nose, dude. I know you want to make fun of me, but you know exactly what I'm talking about too when it comes to cigars. There's a very like,
smells like horse shit.
No, it just smells like, you're going pumpkin picking with the missus because she had to go pick out a pumpkin. All you want to do is watch fucking football. You know what I mean? But then drive out to the state, pick up a $30 pumpkin for no reason. All right, you're not even gonna carve it. It's just gonna sit on the porch. Some jerk off kid's gonna come up to your door and smash it because you ran out of friggin' whatever candy he wanted. Or you could be the dick like me and give out pennies and apples because fuck
candy
you,
corn.
no free meal.
He's gonna smash it because you didn't give enough candy corn. It tastes like bourbon. By the way, I got a text message from Meredith before you started describing that. She goes, "Let me guess, sweet like caramel."
Meredith, you would be correct because most bourbons have a caramel characteristic. It's an easy one to go to, and I will not be sassed by you, ma'am. Okay, it is not allowed. Unbelievable. You're supposed to be one of the good ones. I'm going to catch shit. This is, erroneous. Erroneous on all accounts. Where's my lawyer? Oh, that's right. He's playing softball. So, yeah, very sweet on the initial taste. And then you get that, just that grain, that very hay, barnyard flavor across the palate. But it's different. Dude, it's different than anything I've ever tried. And I don't want to sit here and say I absolutely am in love with it and it's in my top 10. It's not, but I appreciate what they're doing. And I think it's an absolutely delicious bourbon whiskey. So definitely, if you can pick one of these up, pick one up. They're a little harder to come by now, at least the barrel strength ones. They're not in every market across the country yet. They're getting there. But the barrel strength ones are hard to come by because they just took a couple double golds in, I believe, the San Francisco whiskey competition that they have, which is one of the big ones. So these are definitely becoming more and more of a, I don't want to say allocated, but a rarer bottle to find on your shelf. So if you can, go pick one of these up. I'm still waiting for my bottle. I'm going to order it actually this week of their regular. I think it's 90-something proof. Their normal Frey Ranch. But excellent bottle. Love what they're doing. Farm to glass bourbon. I think that's excellent. I think it's pretty damn cool. I advise you to pick one of these up and try it out. Nick, what do we got on the agenda for you as far as drinking?
This is iced tea.
Yeah. That's it?
No, I'm kidding. I'm drinking Old Granddad, courtesy of our buddy C Money Mac.
Oh, yeah.
This is Old Granddad 80 proof. It's actually it has a little bit of a bitter end to it. It tastes like unicorn farts and dragon's breath. So
I love how you're just poking fun at me. I quite enjoy it.
It tastes like bourbon, like a bourbon should, you know. It's got.
And what does bourbon taste like, Nick? Tell me you don't get caramel.
I don't get caramel. This right here, this is caramel. All right, I'll show you what a piece of caramel looks like.
If you have a Werther's original, I'm gonna slap you.
That's caramel. All right.
Oh, cowtail.
All right. This is vanilla and caramel. All right. This does not taste like this. Not even close.
I got $50 that says that cowtail actually has no actual caramel in it. It's just like a fake sugar brown.
Dude,
caramel.
You realize that caramel is literally just burnt sugar, right?
I just said fake sugar though. It's gonna be real sugar.
Let's see. Ingredients: sugar, wheat flour, corn syrup, sugar.
Corn syrup. See, fake caramel. They use more corn syrup than real sugar.
Guy, the next one is sugar. Just so you know, for those of you who don't know, when you look at the ingredients on the side of something, it goes by in order of like what they use the most of.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, that's only in Canada. That's in the other room.
This is a Canadian candy. Anyway, this is actually, it has a little bit of a bitter end to it, but I don't believe this is the highest of highs for Old Granddad.
You're picking up the baseline of Old Granddad. After that, you have Old Granddad bottled and bond, and then Old Granddad 114, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah, but it's good. You can drink it. It's smooth. It had a little bit of a little bite at the end. It's gonna smell like liquor, so you're not gonna sit there and be like, oh man, like this doesn't taste like alcohol. It tastes like alcohol. You're gonna get it. I'm not gonna give you it tastes like oak barrels and fucking poppycock and all this other nonsense. But you can drink it. It's definitely a sipper.
So you think it's better to give that description than you want to make fun of me and try to put a flavor profile on it, and you're like, yeah, it tastes like alcohol. There's obviously alcohol in it. You're gonna taste the alcohol because it's bourbon. Okay, thanks, Nick.
It tastes like brown alcohol. Anyway,
it tastes like brown alcohol.
Before we get going, because we're running out of time, last things last, I just want to give a shout out. Deion Sanders is getting surgery. He has a blood clot in his groin, and doctors unfortunately have said that he might end up losing a foot, not necessarily due to that illness, but Deion's health is not doing too great for him right now. Obviously, one of the greatest players to ever play football and a very good baseball player as well. A three-sport athlete running track in college, and we wish Coach Deion Sanders a speedy recovery. But that's all we have for you this week. We'll catch you again next week. Hopefully, we'll have Rook with us, and we're on Scoreboard Addicts, and we will catch you later on the flippity flip. As soon as I get this outro going, peace.